So today's warm-up, the first question says, what is that little M stands for measure of arc BC. So here's B, here's the C. How many degrees is this arc, and how do I know?
90.
It's 90 degrees. Why? It's going to be the same as the inside angle, and we're going to call this the central angle because that angle is at the center. Okay? And then how do I find the measure of angle A way over here? How am I going to find this measure of that angle? We haven't done this since last week. I'm going to go all the way. If I have the arc and I want the angle, I am going to divide by 2. So what is 90 divided by 2? 45. And does anybody remember what type of angle this is called, angle A? It is an inscribed angle. This one's an inscribed angle, meaning it's on my circle. This one right here is a central angle. So an inscribed angle, remember you always divide by 2. A central angle, it should be the same thing as the arc. Or if you're looking for the arc, times 2. Yep, if you have the angle. Thank you. All right, write that down. Kristen. And we are going to see, I want a different person answering questions, every single one of my questions today. So I should hear from every single one of you by the end of the day through raising your hand. So if I tell you dB is the diameter, somebody raise your hand and tell me what that tells me about my circle. If dB is the diameter, this is not on anything, you're just looking up. Somebody raise your hand. What does that tell me about this circle? Aubrey? It cuts the circle in half, which means what? Thank you, Maya. This side is 180 degrees. And what about this side? 180 degrees. So, somebody raise their hand and tell me, how do I find arc AD? I want to hear from somebody new, so not Maya, not Aubrey. How do I find arc AD? Somebody raise their hand and tell me. Joe?
60 minus 180.
I'm going to do 180 right here minus 60 because I know this whole half is 180. I know that side's 60, and that is 120 degrees. And then somebody else tell me, how do I find arc, we already did that color, BC. How do I find this right here, Lily? 180 minus down here is 110. So 180 minus 110 is 70 degrees. Oh, so this was 120 degrees. This was 70 degrees. Okay, keep looking up, please. What is DBC? If I have arc, D, so start at D, go to B, go to C. Ooh, a little bit tricky here. How do I find DBC? That's this angle right here. Brian, what'd you say?
Nothing.
What'd you say? Just say it. So 110 plus 70 is going to be the 180. We already know that. But I want to go back to what you were saying. 110, you are going to use 110. What am I going to do? We just did this on the warm-up. What am I going to do to this 110 to figure out that angle right there, Brian?
You can't answer anymore. You already did.
Take out your headphones, please. Aubrey, take out your headphones. What am I going to do? Divide by 2. All right, 110 divided by 2 is, ladies in the back, Y'all are paying attention? 55. And then last but not least, this is a mess and I can't understand anything I'm doing right now because there's so much. So last but not least, let's see what is, let's do purple. What is DCB? So D to C to B. Ooh, this one's tricky.
Question, when you go like the actual art,
Mm-hmm.
so why are you going cons?
No, this has an angle.
Oh,
It's an angle. So I have to go across because it says angle DCB. What arc goes with DCB? The 180. So somebody I haven't heard from, how do I figure out this answer? What am I going to do with 180?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, why would you do the entire thing if like just 100 is like
Okay, so I'm looking at, if you look right here, I'm looking at the angle DCB, right? So I said D to C to B. The arc that goes with that is this whole thing. Because I have to look, for the arc, you're looking at the last two letters. For the angle, you're looking at the middle letter. So the angle is C, but the arc is D to B. And how many degrees is D to B? 180. So does anybody want to tell me what I'm going to do to this 180 to figure out this angle that I have not heard from? What am I going to do, y'all? Divide it by how much? Divide it by 2. And what's 180 divided by 2? 90 degrees. So this is actually a right angle. And there we go. All right, those are questions. I probably will give them to you on separate pictures because that's a lot for one picture. But those are questions that you are going to see on your test that is 1 week from today. So we're going to learn this week, today and tomorrow. On Thursday, we're going to do a review. We're going to do a circuit. And Friday, we are doing a little bitty lesson. It should be quick. Monday, we review, and Tuesday, we test. All right, this unit is probably one of the longest units we've had this year. Normally, we test in here every 2 weeks. This unit is 2 weeks long of learning. So it's a lot. And that's because I'll cut out some of the unit, and we're going to learn it after the test because it's just so much to remember. Today we're going to be talking about tangents and chords. Let's remember, what is a tangent again? A tangent looks like this. How many times does a tangent touch the circle? It touches the circle exactly 1 time. And remember that point, right here it would be point C, is called the point of tangency. All right? So that is what a tangent is. It touches only 1 time to our circle. So I am going to show you these notes, and we are going to take them down. So the first theorem about tangents is, do you agree real quick that this right here, BT, is a tangent? Do you agree that's outside of my circle and it only touches it 1 time? Y'all agree with that? The first theorem that you need to know about tangents is if a line is tangent to the circle, then it is, and I want you to do a perpendicular symbol. You can write perpendicular or you can do the perpendicular symbol. What does perpendicular mean in this class? What? Oh, yeah, yeah. What does perpendicular mean in this class? Somebody I haven't heard from. And y'all can actually shut your computers. You don't need them right now. Shut your computers. What does perpendicular mean? Louder? Equals 90. So can you please put that? It equals 90 degrees. Anytime you have a tangent and a radius, you are going to be able to put a 90-degree angle. So one of your test questions is going to say, what is the measure of CBT? Remember, we're looking at the middle letter. What is the measure of B? What's B right here? Is that really a test question? Yes. But you have to know that it's a tangent and a radius that make 90 degrees every single time. Well, if angle C, it says angle C is 42 degrees, so I'm going to put a 42 degrees right here. How do I find angle T over here? Add 90 plus 42. 90 plus 42 is 132. And what shape is this right here that we have? A triangle. So what am I going to do to figure out the answer? Subtract it from 180. So what is 180 minus 42? No, 132. Sorry. It is 48 degrees. So angle T is 48 degrees. We're going back to what we did last semester. Find the missing angle, you add them together, and then subtract from 180. Does that make sense? So if you have a tangent and a radius, this line is outside of the circle, it touches it once. This is a tangent. Can you write that on there? This is a tangent. That's the radius. We have an R there. If you have a tangent and a radius, you have 90 degrees every single time. And that's what this says. They are perpendicular. We did that. Okay. On your assignment today in Schoology, this is not on your paper, but I want you to look up. On your assignment today in Schoology, you're going to have a question like this. And we just did this. We said, hey, I have a tangent and a radius. What's angle B right here? 90. And we said this was 42. I need to get my pen. I can't. I don't know why I'm trying to do it with the mouse. We said this was 42. And what did we say T was? What did we get? 48. Then what if I said BC was 5 and CT was 13? How do I find the bottom down here of BT? Super close. We can't just subtract that. We are going to end up subtracting, but we're going to have to use something before we subtract. Pythagorean theorem. What's Pythagorean theorem? We did not leave it. We're never leaving it. C squared equals A squared plus B squared. All right, let's just remember real quick, what is my C? C is always across from the 90. So 13 is my C. The other number is my A, and I do not know this B down here. I know what C is. When I know what C is, what did Chrislyn just say we're going to end up having to do to them? Subtract them. So to find B squared, and I always subtract the bigger number minus the smaller number. I'm going to subtract them. But that's not my answer. Why not? What do I have to do? I have to square root it. I have to square root it. So in Desmos, I am going to put what is the square root of 13 squared. That's why I'm going over this one with you, and I can help you with this one on your Schoology assignment when you need it. All right. So what's my answer here? 12. So B down bottom is 12. Okay. So just as a reminder, that's not going away. Pythagorean theorem is here to stay. We're not going to do that one right now. The next one I want you to know, if you please go back to your notes, Theorem 2 about tangents. Theorem 2 says two segments that are tangent to a circle. So I'm going to highlight, what's my tangent lines here? RA and CA. So those are both tangent. If two segments are tangent and they have a common point, in this case they both cross at A, outside of the circle, they are congruent. What does that mean? They are the same. I can put tick marks. So if I tell you RA is 20, I'm going to put a 20 right here. If RA is 20, what is AC? 20. Is that really a test question? Yep. That's really a test question. Write that down, please. If RA is 20, AC is 20. If the radius of the circle is 15, well, do you agree both of these are the radius? So I'm going to put R equals 15, R equals 15. How do I find the middle, T to A? What do I know about C? It's 90 degrees. Didn't we just learn that if you have a radius and a tangent, it's 90? What do I know about R? 90. How can I find this long line? Pythagorean theorem. So I'm going to do C squared equals A squared plus B squared. Write this down, please. What is my C? What's across from the 90? We don't know that one, do we?
No.
So I'm going to leave that C squared. And then my others are A and B. It doesn't matter which one you choose as A and which one you choose as B. I'm going to do 15 squared plus 20 squared. But it does not matter. When you're looking for C, you just add them together. What do I need to do before I put them in the calculator, though? The square root. And then I'm going to put this in the calculator right here. What is 15 squared plus 20 squared? What is my answer? C is 25. Please write down everything I have written down. Again, it's been a hot minute since we've done this, so when you get to this part on the assignment, if you're confused, just ask. I will help you. All right, that's all we are going to do. Oh, no, this one's a test question. Everybody look up. It's like a little puzzle. Everybody look up. This is not on your paper, but this is going to be a test question. How do I find the perimeter of the triangle ABC? Look up. If I know this is 5, what else do I know? What other one's 5?
It's in between A and 10.
Right here is 5. Do you agree those are both tangents and they are the same? So then this is also 5. Cool. What else do I know? If this is 10, what do I know? The other side's 10. It's like a little puzzle. So I can put 10 right there because these are the same. And last but not least, if this is 3, the other one's 3. What is this whole side right here? 15. What is this whole side? 13. And what is this whole side?
8.
And how can I find the perimeter of a triangle? Add them all together. I can do 13 plus 15 plus 8 in my calculator or in my head, whichever one works better for you. And what do I get? 36. This is going to be a test question. Do you want me to do it one more time? We're okay? All you got to know is if it makes that V, they are the same. Just like in our notes, we have it right here. These two make that V, they're the same. Okay? All right. I'm glad I went and looked at that. Last but not least, last theorem we are going to do is the chords. So for this theorem right there, if two chords intersect in a circle, do you agree this is a chord because it starts and stops on the circle? And this is a chord because it starts and it stops on the circle. Okay? Then the products of the lengths of the segments of the chord are equal. To me, that's really confusing. So here's what I always tell everybody to remember. Y'all ready? Left times right equals the top times the bottom. Everybody please write that down. Left times right equals the top times the bottom. And I want you to turn this circle so that you see not an X, but like kind of like a cross. So I'm going to turn this a little bit like that. Do y'all see how I have now a top and a bottom number? So do you agree this is my top number and this is my bottom number? Can y'all see what I mean by that? And what number's to the left? Or, it's not a number. What letters to the left? And what letters to the right? Do y'all see what I mean in left, right, top, bottom? Number, yes. So you're looking at the center right here, not the center of the circle, but where they cross. You're looking what's up top, what's on the bottom, what's to the left, what's to the right of where they intersect. What's my left? What's my left? X. What's my right? Times 3. Equals, what's the top? 6. What's the bottom? 2. And I am going to solve. How do I get X by itself? Tell me, Daniela. How am I going to get X by itself? Divide by 3. And you are just going to put that in the calculator or do it on your own. What is 6 times 2? 12. Divided by 3? 4 is my answer. If you're unsure of that, again, just put that in your calculator then. What is 6 times 2 divided by 3? 4. All right, let's do example 2, and then I am done teaching for today. What's the top number? 9. Then what's the bottom number? The bottom number is always going to be right across from the top number. 8. What's on my left? 6. And what's on my right? So left times right, 6 times X equals top times bottom. What's the top? 9 times 8. How do I get X by itself? Divide by 6. And then either do that in your head or put that in your calculator. What is 9 times 8 divided by 6? 9 times 8 divided by 6 is 12 is my answer. I need everybody. Mark, are you with me? Everybody write that down, please. DJ, you with me? Write that down. That's all well, no, tomorrow we're going to do a little bit more with chords, but that's definitely going to be a test question. Left times right equals top times bottom, and then just solve for X. All right, if you can please add this page to 60. Oh my goodness, we're getting up there. Add this page. It's going to be page 60 in your notebook. And I'll bring you some glue. We're going to call this tangents and chords. Tangents and chords. All right, and then you were going to go into Schoology and do the assignments. That. All right, we're not going to do the quizzes. We're just doing the Schoology assignment.